Liquid walks too far forward, the sniper gets a nice shrapnel, gets a bunch of hits off. That's where Liquid just has to be careful of their amount of aggression. They have to control it, they have to keep just taking the small advantages, keep building, and then at some point that's when they hit the Roche, hit the throne.
Ovica has been given a lot of space in this mid lane. Already has drums completed, going in for the Aether Lens next. Just going to give even more of that power to just sort of poke and prod. As Liquid go for the wraparound back behind the tier 1 tower. Won't run into anybody there, as you can see Aster only leaving that one support mid and just keeping the lave shoved out whenever possible.
It's a dangerous place right now, this mid lane. You know, some smoked up enemies on the other side there.
The BKB is finished on Shadow Fiend, and they want this tier 1 mid. It opens up the map a lot. You can go into both jungles through the mid lane. You can actually push your creeps past the tower.
He skipped the blink.
Yeah.
Finished the full Wraith Pact.
All right, Pango gets it done now.
Liquid right now, I think he noticed the Death Prophet went for Yules first. The Mars is also not having an amazing game. He went Falcon Blade. So his game's not terrible, but it's not going to be a fast BKB. So he's not really going to have issues catching heroes with the roll or being forced to start the fights purely with roll. He just kind of has to be able to, you know, when arena drops, you roll in and save your team.
Yeah.
Or when they start kind of walking in up your hill, you start the fight with roll.
I think it's just interesting because now I feel like they don't have much initiative. I think it's very hard for, like, let's say they do want to, you know, take a fight. They have a good opportunity. It feels like it's going to be very difficult for Aster.
This round, again, you've got the Blink Dagger done on Zai as the stun finds him just out of nowhere. Quick and easy with the smoke kill. Mickey was not prepped for that one. Can they find any more?
You just have a great ward.
That's a great ward to have.
That's just free fight.
Oh, pulls him out. Oh, it pulled him out of the arena. Tries to get out of there. Ori now finds one. Zai in trouble. This fight has gone terribly for Liquid as Monet is going to run down this Mars. Matumba Man still surviving through it though. Can he do the damage the rest of his team couldn't? I don't think so. Matumba Man also starting to fall. Only the Pango has died. And on the other side, Aster take down everybody but the supports.
That was a nice, just chaining the plays.
Yeah, it was
Shadow
so
Fiend
fast.
kill in the same roll. He keeps rolling down behind the tower. He forces his play, and he does his roll. He goes and he dies. He takes a bunch of spells. He forces Liquid to want to continue fighting, and the arena, the sniper, and the Lesh, but they have no damage now because everything's being used on the Pango.
Yeah, instantly like running towards that mid lane, dropping that additional ward down to give even more vision because, you know, lacking that Blink Dagger, it is the vision, right? You know, talking about like it's poor initiation at this point because he went for the full Wraith Pact. It doesn't matter. If Sven can run up smoked and just throw a stun, that's like the best case scenario as a support Sven, particularly you know, aside from your shard, that's kind of your other big thing, right?
And you can immediately see that Mickey pinged out. All right, they've got wards up in this area. It doesn't quite connect, though, on any of those observers. We'll see if Insania is able to spot the other one or not.
It's this really nice deep ward above the outpost.
Yeah,
Aster has. It just had this tiny sliver of vision of the camp where they just saw a Shadow Fiend. If he was like 10 units to the right, maybe he doesn't even get caught by that stun, but Insania gets the D ward.
Wow. 10 to 11, and you can see the replay. I thought that it was, you know, maybe even Foxy had pulled him just out of the static storm, but it didn't end up matter. He was still silenced the whole time.
They had to like chain the Death Prophet one additionally as well because of that. But yeah, Zai unfortunately not able to to get the fight they want. Part of, like because it took so long to take down the Pango, essentially, right? Like he had no follow up from his friends in time.
Yeah, they have the Lesh and the Sniper are very strong, so when you're forced to use spells on just a Pango, you're kind of letting these damage cores survive the spells. And like we said, Liquid is between the Mars and the Disruptor, they're very, you know, 10-15 seconds of the team fight. They do so much. They have so much control, so much fight, and then it's maybe on the Marcy to just continue to catch, maybe it's on the Death Prophet to keep being able to run in, but this 10 to 15 seconds of Liquid's fight is their strongest. So when you just force that all on a Pango and you don't deal with the Sniper, he just gets free reign in the fight.
I mean, the good news is, though, is that he didn't have time to BKB and waste his 9-second charge.
There you go. All right.
They still have the Shadow Fiend BKB.
The positives.
Gotta look at him.
Matu is also finishing his BKB up. He's about 300 gold away.
Ooh, heads up there. Zai gets away just in time. XXS will not manage to catch onto that Mars. But a really good fight one like we talked about for Aster. There still is that bottom tier 1 tower that they have yet to claim.
The scary thing I see right now for the side of Liquid is that Zai just has a Blink Dagger, no BKB, and he's basically, he has to be able to blink in and stun and preferably survive when he blinks in an arena stuns. But there's so many different things on Aster that can catch him to either cancels blink between like the shrapnel or a random swashbuckle, or maybe he just blinks and gets instantly stunned by the Pango roll.
True.
And it's just a lot on the back of him to, if he gets these good spears, these good arenas, it's gonna be great for Liquid.
I think that Aster as well have an like excellent read on everything that Liquid want to do right now. Like, you know, you pointed out at the start of the game, like this is their timing. They want these BKBs. It is something that Aster are also well aware of. And so the positioning of their heroes, of like always having like the Leshrac, the Sven, and the CM kind of like staying up front, while you then have the sniper just farming a little bit behind them. Pango sort of nearby as well, can join very quickly with the roll. They're shutting out that area of the map for such a long time that Liquid have missed out on that Roche timing.
Max amounts of force staffs getting picked up for Liquid. They have the Dragonlance completed, full one Hurricane Pike, but you can see as Aster ready to move on in, Liquid, they have an idea that this is happening, but it's going to come too late.
Yeah, they had wards nearby, but it was too late.
They might still look to fight. Aster might not expect this fight.
Zai, he's running right into him. Monet there. Have it, but the BKB, it's out already. Matumbo Man trying to survive, has the BKB running on top of Pichu, now trying to take down Monet. All three cores on top of him, but it's not quite going to be enough. The Static Storm, a good connection. The spear, they got him. Monet will fall. That's one life. Still a lot of exorcism left. And meanwhile, Boxy gets the stun with that rebound. Requiem up on the high ground, keeps chasing down. Monet in trouble, wanting to kill them all off. Does he have enough? He's surviving the little sniper. He's so strong. He's so big. Let it happen. Oh, Insania now turns. They didn't have enough for the second life. That Warcry armor coming in from the Sven completely demolished them. And the root from Bulbaka, Liquid, they're all gonna fall.
Pichu came in like riding from down the hill. He had like 10% HP. I'll save you. Stuns up on Mickey, runs over, gets another Warcry off, and they turn that entire fight around. They couldn't quite get that last bit of damage after the Aegis.
It was looking really scary. Ori actually didn't get his ult off. So he got silenced with no ult running. He pops his Bloodstone, he gets silenced again. He doesn't get his ult off. So he didn't even lifesteal at all in that fight. He's like almost full mana. So
he did 600 damage. Really big carry.
Yeah. That is crazy.
And it still took them so long to take him down.
And especially the way it starts, right? Like they find Monet, he's forced to very early BKB. All he does is hit Zai the entire time. Zai's gonna back away. Yeah, into the bulwark. He's the back away, wave the step. Great force staff play there as well, but then Zai eventually gets the blink in. But on this reset, it's so hard to believe that with a Requiem from the high ground like that, they couldn't get this finish.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
And Pichu, he just comes like running in from the right now.
Like,
there he
guys,
is.
I'm here, don't worry. Just barely, and it's enough.
Yeah.
What a huge play from Aster as they are able to survive that fight. And again, very even in the live game right now. But things could start spinning pretty quickly out of control if Liquid aren't careful.
Yeah, a lot of that fight I think actually was on the Pango, even though it didn't look like he had much impact. He rolls and it forces the Death Prophet BKB and the Shadow Fiend BKB.
Yeah.
And they hit him, you know, Shadow Fiend takes him down maybe 75% health, but he's fine trading roll for your BKB. He knows that if he uses his roll, he can still push race back, he can still be tanky. But once you pressure BKB, you can't really fight the CM, you can't fight all the stuns on the side of Aster.
Yeah, and now after that Wraith Pact, he's already picked up the shard, and he's just about to get his Blink Dagger there as well. So, gonna have a whole other level coming from XSS soon.
Well, Tier 1 tower taking a bottom, and Aster, they are continuing this onslaught here. 4K gold lead.
They're gonna see Zai in behind now, catching that next wave.
Yeah.
So there is a glyph here as well from Liquid. They are gonna pop it just to kill the wave, so we'll see how dedicated they are.
Ori is a
being the
now,
first
so
Tier 2, yeah.
It's very hard, I think, for Liquid to now fight, like, ever take a fight into Aster. Whenever Aster sets up, the sniper has heroes to protect him, the Pango's gonna get his roll up. That's where it's scary. But anytime Aster walks into the stuns, the Disruptor glimpse, you know, they go too far hitting a tower and he gets glimpsed back, that's where Liquid just pumps out the damage.
Oh, Zai, big play. He catches the Blink Dagger Courier. It was flying on its way out to XXS.
Oh, that's real big.
Yeah.
A nice little window here. I mean, again, there's no Roche for another 4 minutes at the very least, since that Aegis was immediately reclaimed. So likely to have a little bit of downtime here before a big push, but they could go for some type of a smoke play if there is that item timing that they wanted to hit, like the blink.
Yeah, to me, it buys time for Zai's BKB as well, right? Like, he's finding all these waves inside the map. He just gets it now. So if they were able to force a fight now from Liquid, and he knows that there was a Blink Dagger on there, it could be a great timing for them.
4 of them on the map. All of them up and ready. 8, 9 seconds.
Radiant's top tower is under
As
attack.
Boxy also getting close. He's about 800 gold or so away from finishing off his.
Yeah, and right now the vision advantage isn't Liquid's favorite. They've been seeing quite a few of these movements here from Aster because of the ward that they have, whereas Aster have nothing. They can't see anything that's going on that dire side of the map right now, so they're going to rely on these waves finally getting pushed out to see if they can spot something.
My favorite thing right now is we're going back to the old days of Shadow Fiend, Shadowblade, Sniper, Shadowblade.
Jeez, that was when I started playing Dota. Every game was just a Drow building a Shadowblade and Ricky's. It was just invis everywhere.
I mean, still pretty strong when you can build up into that that break. Love to see that one. But
Sniper, all of his attack range will be gone.
so sad.
I think right now Liquid still has a lot of damage, even though they're slightly behind.
Force out that BKB. Zai might need to throw the arena if he wants to live here even. Yeah,
Bag it up, you know.
get on out of there, buddies. Do use the glimpse. Okay, no Ori here in this fight. Could take another one after. Mickey chasing. Invis, Monet is also gone and away. Can they do it? Doesn't look like it.
That's a hard grab. After already glimpsing, of course.
That was a cool little thing by XSS. So when he swashes without hitting them. Because when you hit them, it gives you vision, and there's a chance he gets glimpsed off of his swash backwards.
Oh, right.
So he does a nice little thing where he just swashes and intentionally does it in the opposite direction, so there's no chance they provides vision to Liquid.
Something we can watch for there later. They maybe catches himself out because of that. But for now, he's also got the roll-up completed. 10 seconds until his Blink Dagger is back and in his possession.
Liquid right now, they either need to kill in a spear. He hits a spear on the sniper, he'll just get blown up. Or they need to be able to survive the BKBs. And honestly, they want to try to hold the arena for after the BKBs. You saw in the fight in the tri-camp, Zai just kind of kept walking at him his entire BKB duration. And he ended up catching him after the BKB. And if it weren't for the Aegis, they would have won that fight. So right now, they need to find a way to force BKBs without pressing arena. I think that's going to be a lot on Boxy with his BKB to just jump on the sniper, pressure ult, kind of force his ability, his defensive abilities, his BKB. That's where Zai's just waiting, watching the fight, and then he blinks in, gets the arena after the BKBs, and Mickey's able to do all the damage.
It has to be like a very quick follow-up, it feels like, where it's like Boxy and then like Matu's in at the same time, and that's when you have these like sort of side lane heroes like kind of waiting to come in, like the Mars the Disruptor and the Shadow Fiend.
I mean,
get their moment spotted.
It is worth noting, you know, there's a reason a lot of people ban Marcy. This is one of the strongest timings in the entire game. And when you get that BKB, you can just solo cores if they're not careful and don't have friends nearby.
Phase boots BKB, the scariest timing. So much damage.
It's kind of insane. As we will have a pause here. It's Boxy mid-flight. And it will be an interesting couple of minutes to watch too as we get ready for Roche to respawn. 1 minute until it's capable of popping back up. And like you were talking about, that vision, Aster do have one ward up on the high ground right above the Roche pit. Meanwhile, Liquid have one right above their tier 2 tower up on the other side of the map as well.
Interesting, Boboko actually went for a Yules instead of the, I think he was going Aether Lens.
Yeah, he was for a while.
I'm kind of curious as to what's his goal with it. Maybe it's to try to get the Marcy off of his sniper.
That'd be my guess too. Oh, they just smoked on top of that ward. Then Boboko laughed. They have a jump. Oh, they have a jump. Yeah, okay. They saw it as they smoked. I was like, oh, wow.
All right, that's fine.
Just a bait. It's fine.
If they go farm now, Liquid's gonna still be scared.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like you can't just assume like, oh, they saw that.
Right. Gem purchase now by Insania as they're hanging out by another ward. So that is all of the vision pretty much for Liquid in this area, taking off the map. And with Roche capable of respawning soon, and in fact, it's going to be 1 minute away, Liquid need to be a little bit wary about that and their positioning to make sure they don't give up a free Aegis.
Everyone's just worried about getting their next timing due to the fact of how hard it is for either team to really jump the other one. So everyone just wants to be able to be the ones who you walk into them and you lose the fight. That's why Mickey's just kind of farming a lot, and it's just because if he has the damage, he can do everything Liquid needs him to do.
I think Matu, nice choice here with the Shiva's card, right? Versus the Leshrac too. Very cool.
Really nice. Yeah, that extra regen reduction will be super helpful. So things to watch for here again is all of the vision into the favor of Aster. They get a Silver Edge completed on Shadow Fiend, and we'll see if they can now holding that outpost on Aster, keep this area under control, but a smoke up from Liquid. Let's see where they
Two
go.
big things right now are if Pango gets roll off, it's probably going to be good for Aster, and whether or not Zai's able to hold his arena for after the sniper BKB. Those are the two big things, and depending on what happens, it kind of shows who's going to win the fight.
They're so blind. They're just running in.
They drop down a ward. That one is scouted. They had vision in the area,
They
so
actually saw the
Aster
sniper.
knows. They know he's there. Getting broke right at the start, punched a couple of times, but Tumbaman completely obliterated right at the start. Zai tries to escape from there, but Monet runs him down. Liquid just ran into death.
It's so hard to try to take Ares away, but they need to. You need to get control of Roche. You need to. They want to set up to defend the tower. You want to always be able to fight. It always feels very stressful when you keep asking yourself, you're asking the team, like, hey guys, when can we fight? When can we take this fight? And you don't get an answer.
Oh, that roll-up started just at the exact perfect time as well there, too. Thunder into the roll-up, complete perfect chain stun, no saves there in time. Not a whole lot you can do unless Boxy's going to find a shard or something here, right? Like, he is stuck and done, and that is a free Roche now, side of Aster.
Concussive grenade also picked up now for Monet. Has a little more space distance in the fights.
If he wasn't hard enough to catch already.
Right.
I think for Liquid, obviously there's an Aegis, so you're going to be probably thinking about your high ground defense. But again, all they really need is to be able to start a fight cleanly. They need to catch the Pango, they need to catch the sniper without an Aegis.
Make it sound so easy, Gunner.
I mean, this is a tough one now, and Aster just looking incredibly clean. Each of the moves that we've seen them make around the map, it's been with purpose. They've had vision down early on. Liquid are the ones that are trying to come in and oust them from those areas. And as you said earlier, it does become a problem when they're already set up and positioned well.
I think anytime either team has a hill, has a kind of a ward or a high ground, and they get walked into, they're going to win. No, even though Liquid's down 7,000 gold, I still think they have the ability to fight. But Aster's just, they just are constantly forcing so much pressure between towers, between Roche, that Liquid are always the ones who feel like they have to walk into them.
An Aeon disc that I saw getting completed pretty soon too.
I did see XSS has one.
He has a one locked, so
Yeah.
he's ready. He's pretty much prepared. The only concern with it is he'll still die to the static storm if he gets caught.
Right.
But now the Mars can't really spear him and just blow him up. It's pretty nice.
Well, tier 2 tower gonna be hit. This is the last outer tower for Liquid. With that said, they've been in this position many times. This lineup has had plenty of comebacks. We'll see if today is going to be another one of those instances, as Aster are now going to split up a little bit. Ori on the other side of the map, so Zai kind of in a pretty good position for a fight. They get the BKB off, misses on the spear though. Pichu caught for I don't know if they have the damage to bring him down. He's there waving, looking for a high five. And even without Ori, they take this fight perfectly. Chase down another. Matumbaman in some trouble, trying to get a little bit of separation, but they'll kill Insania to boot.
And all Zai's, the fight breaks down, he just runs to the creep wave.
XXS, he assembles it, and now in some more trouble. The ulti down, godlike Monet. Liquid do not have answers for this Aster lineup.
The same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Aster holds an area, Liquid feels forced to make a move, they walk into the ward, the fight gets hard. Anytime, it's just Pango. Pango's always going to get his roll off. You can't walk into a ward and prevent the Pango from rolling up.
It's kind of like they have the same weakness for both the Pango and the Sniper. Right? They just have no way of stopping the very beginning of the fight for their game plan to start. That was a nice concussive as well there from Monet for that initial distance, making it kind of getting like baited in, right? Just like drawn further and further, and then XSS easy clean up.
Even if they hit the spear, what? They kill the Sven a little faster?
Right.
There's not enough control right now to deal with the Sniper.
Monet has been playing such a fabulous game, and I think a lot of people, it was back at TI7, LFY, a lineup that he was playing on when he first really made a name for himself. And after a lot of those other really well-storied players retired, he kind of found himself lacking a place, and now he's found it with this group of players, and Aster looking to continue their dominance in this upper bracket. We'll see if Monet can keep it up. The rest of Aster can make the plays that they need. Ori blinks forward aggressively, won't find anybody, is going to be glimpsed back. XXS
Still a
threatening
DK.
a roll. What can they do? The stun, it's there. On to Matumba Man. Yule Scepter keeps him alive. Ori trying to run down Boxy. Matumba Man gets out. They pulled them into a fight with roll wearing off. Can they do anything? But Sniper, he's still always there, ready to plink away. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Chase him down again. Mickey, Invis, everybody that walks forward is getting blasted.
They're in so much trouble they can't even force a glimpse.
What a freaking destructive draft from Aster.
Butterfly's now finished for Monet. Look how much damage he's done.
He's done quite a bit, yeah.
He's done more than all the other cores of Liquid combined almost.
So it was a really nice sniper. Again, you know, it solves the Shadow Fiend, it solves the Death Prophet. It kind of fixes these heroes where they walk in slowly and they just keep killing everything that stands in front of them because he doesn't stand in front of them. He stands over the hill, two yards away, 2 blocks away, just impossible.
Well, and it was Matumba Man, if I remember correctly, that was one of the first people that was playing Sniper in this tournament.
Yeah.
He was one of the ones that showed the power that this hero can have if left unaddressed. And
Oh, he might be getting sniped right now.
now he's over in the jungle, caught and gonna be killed off. No help nearby at all as they will bring down Matumba Man again. Captain hitting the dirt.
No buyback either.
Stun. Oh my god. Ori gets the blink out before the right click comes in.
There's even a BKB, it was on cooldown.
Yeah, he's done a couple of
stun.
He's had some nice little split push plays throughout this game too. Kind of quiet a few times, but he has done a very good job of just like keeping up his own farm and providing the safer areas for Monet for the vast majority of it.
And Aster, keep the aggression going. There is not an answer. They don't have an Aegis, but they don't need one right now, as they will take down another set of racks. And you can see Liquid on the other side of the map just trying to farm up, get into that next set of items if at all possible. But Aster are not giving them the time.
You don't want to force a fight without Death Prophet. The game can look a little sad, but you always need to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity to win. So now that their Death Prophet's dead, you just have to give up. You have to play for the last racks. You have to play for the the winning the game. You can't just play for, you know, we have to defend this racks, guys. It feels bad.
Right.
You have to just make your sacrifices.
So when you say you have to give up, you mean give up the racks.
Give up the racks.
not
Yes,
the game.
yes, of course.
Okay. Well, we'll see now as Blink, Boots of Bearing, Yule's on the CM. Aster have gone for all of these great team-fighting oriented items.
Maybe an actual moment.
This could be
here.
big. Ori jumped. Oh, they miss! And BKB, the turnaround. Boxy immediately TP's out of there. They're going to cancel the TP in from XXS.
That was a really nice try. If he got the fear on the right click into the jump, they actually could have bursted him. You have to do these small plays. Anytime you kind of split up your heroes, you go to the side lanes. Heroes always want to push the lanes out, or he's been doing it all game where he'll go to a side lane, he'll push it out past the corner, and Liquid needs to set up these kind of traps to catch the heroes out. And every kill means so much for them right now.
It is really your only chance, right?
Or legendary high ground defense.
Of course.
They still have the team fight. They still have the Mars Arena. The Mars Arena is one of the strongest spells to team fight with, especially once the BKBs are down. It's just the question of, are you able to force them to BKB without pressing Arena? And so far, the answer has been no.
Yeah, and Aster, I mean, they're feeling pretty secure about this, just thinking, yeah, maybe we'll wait out for Roche, see what happens, see if we can catch someone coming into their base. They're certainly in no rush right now.
It is always tempting, though. You get that DD on the sniper bottled up. No boots, no problem. But they're doing the same thing that they've been doing all game. Hold an area, wait for Liquid to run into them. And when that will not happen, the downside is that Liquid are going to need to keep these waves pushed out. They can't even really leave their base right now.
One of the nice things, which is why Aster's been able to hold area so much, is that Liquid doesn't really have any heroes who push the lanes without showing. Slowly. Which it's mostly been Zai the whole game. He'll run to a lane, he'll kill it, run to the next, kill it, and he's kind of just chasing them, making them chase him around and keep getting gold. But for Aster, you know, Leshrac has boots of travel, the sniper can just shrapnel and the wave will die, the Penguin can kill it in half a second with both his spells, and they're able to just push the lanes quickly and then regroup, whereas Liquid kind of has to slowly show their hero, show what they're doing.
Looking for base wards.
Calm down. There might be many, but fuck it. Do you want to this guy?
Yeah, you need to stun him.
Can we win? No?
No, go.
This is not gonna happen, bro. Let's go.
It did not happen.
Yeah,
This is not going to happen.
It's one of those tough ones. Those moments are always so difficult to get everything working together in concert. And of course, just high movement speed on that hero as well.
it's also just, you know, you kind of feel the pressure of the game, so you're trying to make all these moves, you're trying to make them work, and you only have half a second, 1 second to know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, that moment is very fleeting for the side lane kill like that. Mickey taunting it up there, has to pop the BKB.
Yeah, Dodge does have that rapier queued up as well, so Liquid maybe a sign of the times and what they need, or at least feel like they need to win this one. They are just still incredibly in control of this game on Aster.
This is my guy right here. This is my play.
This is a very deep smoke.
Yeah, this is what you gotta do when you're 5, right? You gotta get these wards down. They're just like, there's no way they'd ever expect this ward to exist in this game state, right? So you can go for even the more obvious ones in this case, especially when they have a gem. So you kind of gotta YOLO on like the high ground ones at times.
They know that this Roche fight is, if they're going to make a comeback happen where it needs to happen, pinging out that Roche pit. I wouldn't even mind him standing over in that corner there, to be honest. Dude, that'd be crazy. Can you imagine?
The little Roche vision corner?
Yeah.
There's been some crazy things with that.
Well, never since, you know, techies.
Right, of course.
Since he's been gone, we don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah, it's great, the greatest hero.
And you can see Insania, he did not take his gem with him on this mission.
He doesn't even have a sentry down. They could just have a ward of him. And
I mean, if they got you, right? Why waste an extra bit of gold?
I think nowhere else to be, you know?
He's probably just, I would assume he's just playing to steal the Aegis. I don't think there's much more their team could do, but Matsu TP's back. It looks like they might want to just smoke up and take this Roche fight.
They got the rapier on the courier. It's coming on out. We'll see if this is going to be enough now, as Aster have not left this entire side of the map with the exception of XXS, but they will head on in. Ori in position.
The greatest bait of all time.
Ready to go. They find them all. BKB's out. The rapier's there. Is it going to be enough damage, though? They turn onto him. BKB beats away. Now the damage onto Ori. Yule trying to survive through a Requiem of Souls. A couple more punches. They did it. They got enough. XXS now still rolling back and forth on top of him. They buy back on the Sven, try and get into the fight.
Bonnie's coming.
Mickey, he's got to be careful. Sniper, he's blinking. He's running forward to break the run, but they don't have it. So they keep alive the Shadow Fiend, but lose everybody else except Insania. Another big win.
Live, of all people.
I don't know.
Comes in, he throws a static storm down as well on top of the sniper. Now, that was a great job delaying it, right? He like kept the sniper out of the fight for a very long time so that the rapier could actually do a little bit of work and they could take down Ori, but still not enough to get an edge here for Liquid.
And now Monet feels so strong as they walk up high ground. A break, a punch, a kill. Oh no, the Yules! Oh, Bobica, he's so strong. He gets the blink out after. They do it in style. Aster, keep the pressure going. They're going to win this game here as Divine Rapier is dropped. He denies his items, heads on in for the base. GG is called.
It was a nice rapier. The fight looked really close. They almost killed the Leshrac instantly, but he had Stormcrafter, I think, kind of delays it, presses Yules as well. It's like 3.5 seconds, he's just in the air. They can't do damage.
It was a tale of maybe the execution in terms of just like what was easy for each team. You know, for Aster, they kind of just got to lean back, farm it up a little bit, didn't feel like this pressure was on them to make these moves across the map, whereas Liquid, they felt that pressure, and they were unable to make those moves. And sort of the classic tale of Mars in a sense, like we still see him picked because he does have this opportunity for the spear in the arena, and when you hit it, it feels really good. When you can't make those plays and connect those efforts for your team, you see yourself struggle quite a bit.
I thought the biggest thing was the lanes were really nice, but the team fight was just... Aster was so good.
Well, that's what we're going to have to deal with going into the next game as they head on backstage, get prepped and ready for it. Liquid back to the drawing boards, and we're going to head back to the panel.
Thank you very much indeed. Drafting was good, but overall, it was, for me, Monet on his sniper. You could just sit there and you just peep away. That was basically the story of the team fights for me. There was, of course, a lot of protection and everything coming together very nicely. I want to also hear from analysts what they thought was the most important thing here with Jenkins, Effie, and Lacoste. Lacoste, sniper, peeping. How could he just sit there and chill?
He had an extremely good front line. Like, you have this position 5 Sven. I'm becoming a really big fan of it, where the hero goes in, soaks up a lot of damage. Then you have Leshrac as well, and also Pangolier. With the Wraith back plus a shield crash, I think this is the fight that did change things around. They did have Aegis on Sniper, but the damage mitigation in this fight is just, it's way too difficult for Team Liquid to take a fight like this. Having a Warcry, like later on there was a Solar Crest, on top of that Sven, and yeah, he just kept peeping.
He just doesn't die.
I mean, that was a great smoke, honestly. It's just unfortunate that they didn't make it to the Roche pit in time, because they did get that first life on Sniper. They just couldn't kill him after the second, right? There's the Wraith Pack damage mitigation, the lifesteal, and just the backup of his entire team. So
I like that Monet just stood his ground. He
Yeah.
understood the rest of the team is behind him, and they can take that fight. Like, the understanding which fight they can take and how far they can push it, especially on Ori as well on last track. Like, yeah, he had a couple of deaths, but he did realize that even if he dies, he needs to force some BKBs. Like, having no BKB on Shadowfin is what kind of win them the game.
You know, it doesn't surprise me that SF and Sniper are seeing a lot of play at this tournament, because I feel like when the recent patch dropped where they reworked how the lifesteal worked on Vlad's Wraith Pack, like they basically reworked all the lifesteal in the game where it's doubled on heroes and does a little bit less on creep. So in the end, it turned out to be more effective against heroes, not quite double. The heroes that just stand there and fight you with these items are the ones that are being picked. And we could see the effectiveness of it in that fight. And it's the exact same reason why SF gets picked too. But it just seems like Sniper, Effie was saying this backstage, that Sniper just seems like a better version of SF right now.
Again, it comes down to this Sven having extra armor, extra 15 plus 7 from his shard, undispellable, and that most of the damage on Team Liquid is physical. Dead Prophet ulti, you have Shadowfin with the right clicks. The fights become very, very difficult to take.
What was the way that Liquid thought to be able to deal with the Sniper? Because I think only the Mars came out afterwards.
I think they just needed to. So they did have a lead in the early game on Liquid. Their lanes went well. They had a couple of really nice rotations, but all it took was for Aster to take one fight without the SF when the SF was dead, for them to turn the tides completely, because their lineup was just entirely dependent on staying on their side of the map until they needed something, right? They were content to sit back and farm. It forced Liquid to smoke into their jungle, and that's when they utilized the power of the Pangolier, right? He just countered that gank in the jungle, chain stunned. You had the Sniper from a distance whacking away, and of course the armor of the Sven. It just felt really easy for them to do what they wanted. They were also able to hold the Roche areas when they needed to, right? That second Roche, they already set up all their vision in the dire jungle. They had a really strong formation there, and Liquid had to smoke all the way into them from the bottom lane. They were more than ready for that one. So it just felt like Aster were one step ahead every single time.
Yeah, maybe they were prepared. Also, for example, for Boxy's Marcy, who tried to make some rotations. Here's Perch to talk to you more about those rotations Boxy made.
That's right. Aster did so good in the later stages of the game, but Liquid had a perfect early game. A lot of that was Boxy's Marcy, yes, I got it. His first rotation here, Shadow Fiend called out for a nice teleport. Boxy ends up jumping in. He gets a triple raise off. That's the first blood. He ends up walking towards the top lane immediately afterwards, and the moment he gets there is the perfect timing. The Pangolier uses Swashbuckle. He's able to get the follow-up, and he body blocks to perfection, which gives his team a second kill. He even sticks around for a little bit more time after this, because CM is going to say, hey, look at all this free farm that I can take. And that's really good for him, but the problem is that sometimes that's going to lead to you dying and giving them yet another kill. So Boxy now been a part of 3 kills here, and we're not even at the 5-minute mark. And because they're playing this carry Death Prophet, your early game is even stronger in terms of your impact. So now Liquid does this incredible rotation. SF walks to the top lane, so does the Disruptor, and now all of their power is in the same lane. So they get this great dive off. They're going to kill Pangolier. They're going to dive and kill the other support, the CM as well, and they're going to take that tier 1 tower afterwards. So basically taking this early advantage that you get from the Marcy, they're turning into objectives that they're not supposed to normally get. And immediately after this, now Matoma Man says, I'm so far ahead, I can use my net worth to help the rest of the team. So he just TPs the off lane. It's like, okay, now I'm going to pressure where the sniper wants to go. And this whole time, SF is way ahead in net worth, and it looked so good for them. Until that one smoke gank that happened, where Aster crossed the map, they killed the SF, they took the mid tower, and then the game was even. Everything hard that they worked for got ruined by that rotation. So from there, Aster got to play Dota.
They got to play Dota, and it's crazy how fast something like that can indeed turn around, because it did start off looking so good for Team Liquid. They have to think about what they want to do for game number 2 to perhaps force out that 3rd game to this series. So they're going to get a break. We're getting a break. Normally, casters get a break as well, but not this time around, because this time around, Slacks and Casey are actually pestering them right now.
Hello. Yes, hello, we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so cool to be in this arena. We want to show you what it was like being in the caster area. Guys, you're so close to the crowd. You're so close, I will literally show you how close they are. Here you go.
Whoa, okay, that was a fast, all right. Did you tell him what to do?
I don't really know. I
Oh
think
my
he's
God,
just
he
gonna
doesn't
run.
have a microphone. Slacks doesn't have a microphone. Everybody just drink it in. Okay, he's getting ready. Are you guys ready to cast him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting ready.
You know, during our break time, like when we're not live, we'll usually just like talk about what you guys are doing. So be like, you know,
Just a warm-up.
yeah, like warm up. We'll like analyze like food tactics, stuff like that. You know, anything they go for. Do you see Slacks?
I think right now he's literally hiding behind a bunch of fans. Can you guys point to him out in the crowd? Can you point where he's at? Slacks, you can't hide from us. You're trying to hide away. This is unbelievable. Jake every single time there. Now you see he's following behind a couple of people. This is the scary Slacks jaunt of death.
Is this the
If you
wraparound
see
gang?
this, you're about to die. Hide away, people.
2013.
Unbelievable. Now you can see right there, he's lifting up the crowd. He's waving away. Hello, how are you doing, sir? Unbelievable.
Real
The big
sidekick
jump,
right
the big
there.
move. Now, Trent, can you break down a little bit for me what he's doing at this point?
This is a mating ritual that he's going with another participant right now in the arena. As you can see, kind of like those birds that do the big dances. That is
Oh, okay.
also how Slacks goes for it.
You know,
Slacks is losing, though, unfortunately. He had to walk away in a shame.
and next up right now, he's just literally stolen somebody's coffee away from them. That costs a lot of money, sir. Now, I think that Casey is about to go and get this guy back because
Oh, he is
at this point he's
That
starting
was
to
a
take him
vengeful
away.
spirit
Oh
swat.
God, they're looking. Now she's running in. She's trying to chase him down. Casey hoping, trying to kill him off. She's got him up in the air. Oh my God, unbelievable! With absolute no regard for human life, Slacks takes down Casey. Unbelievable as they run it back through. We witnessed murder. Ladies and gentlemen, all you people here at Singapore, what a fabulous performance. We're going to head back to the panel now.
That was some top-tier play-by-play of indeed a human tackle happening in the Suntech Arena. Definitely no break for the casters during that one then, but the players do have a break, and I want to talk about that because they're preparing for game number 2 here. Aster looking hot in that first game. Lacoste, what do you talk about? And you get to choose which team you're going to be when you're going to talk.
Yeah, I think it's easier for Team Aster.
Yeah.
They do have the buff on LAN. They do have a coach that is called LAN M, so things are much easier for them, you know, talking, especially after winning game number 1, you know, just do what you did in game number 1. We got to pick a couple of different
Just do
heroes
the
here and
same.
there.
He's
Yeah.
so good that he gave the between-game speech pre-game, which led to them winning the first one. Back to you, Shiver.
I thought you had some great stats on Lanham, actually.
I do have great stats on Lanham. He's been to 9 TIs as a player, and this is actually his first as a coach. So this is, you know, there's a few coaches that are, they've coached a lot of TIs, but this is like, this guy's been through the grinder every year, you know? He knows what it's like to lose and to win, and like, hey guys, yes, we won. This is a good team we're up against. Don't get too confident. We need to go into game 2 with the same attitude of game 1.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, Effie, we got 3 coaches on the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked time and time again how powerful and how, like, family...
Okay.
Majestic. Say how family-like the Liquid environment is, right? They all feel like they're this giant family. If you follow them on any social media, it seems like their support system is out of this world, and they have each other to rely on even when times get bad, which is why they were able to make it this far, to finally make it to TI through the LCQ. I don't know how effective having 3 coaches versus having 1 coach is.
Well, they actually have 4. Because technically BSJ is the Team Liquid streamer, and he spends a lot of time with them in the gym.
One.
Then what about
Asa Butterfield?
And Asa Butterfield,
what about
so that's 5.
6?
And Koikva, 6. So they have a lot of... Oh, speaking of which, here's Asa Butterfield coming out.
Jenkins. Anyway, these coaches, obviously, they all do something different for Liquid, as far as I know. I think JRX is the one who's helping with, is it drafting or gameplay?
In game. So when we're looking at the draft, it will always be Blitz joining them for the draft for that.
And Jabs, I know, plays more of a motivational role as well, but he also helps with the analysis. Like, they all give different things to them, but they function as a unit. So I do think that what Liquid have seems to be working for them right now. It's just a matter of, will they bounce back from that loss? And I think that they will. They definitely have suffered far worse losses than that over the years. But to beat a team like Aster, you have to figure out a way to break their formation. Aster is such a formation-heavy team. They emphasize so highly on team fighting, on playing together, on holding areas of the map, and they don't really play individually like a lot of other teams do. So you have to figure out how to find the cracks in that kind of gameplay, and you have to do it now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to, we just heard Perch talk about how strong Liquid was in the early 10 minutes, first 10 minutes of the game. They went so well, and then Aster still, like at the end of the game, it still feels like it was a smackdown. So how do you deal with that? Because that is not just draft.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid needs to get Radiant because they do have 87% win when they're playing Radiant.
That's insane.
That's
so high.
They did play Dire this time around.
I think at this point, they maybe try to look to fit in their Pudge or their Lone Druid in this game too. That's probably the best thing that they can do right now, and potentially put Mike on more of a playmaking type of mid, just to see how they can fight into Aster's tempo once they pick it up, right? Because the lanes for Aster aren't where the issues lie. It's afterwards when Aster finally group up. So if you can just pick heroes that can exploit that laning part and make it difficult for them to hit that stride to defend their high grounds, then you can potentially just run them over with something like a Lone Druid, right? You just take all their towers.
Yeah, Matumba played one game of DP during the group stage. So, obviously it's something that he can play, but it doesn't really seem like a Liquid staple, like the Pudge has seemed to be one of their favorites. The Sniper, the Lone Druid. I guess those heroes are not only are they heroes that have like the flair of something like the Death Prophet as a safe lane, which other teams aren't doing. It's like they also just pick them more and seem more comfortable with it. So. Yeah, I mean, I love the Pudge SF if they can get it. The problem is both of these heroes are arguably like first phase heroes if you do want to get them.
Or a second phase banned.
Or, yeah, then Pudge was second phase banned in the previous one because, of course, you look at Liquid's drafts, every single time they go for the SF, they try to get the Pudge as well.
All right, well, we are going to find out what the teams have in store for each other in Game 2 of this series as we are heading to the draft.
Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Team Liquid
Team Aster
versus Team Aster. Game 2.
So far, every series in the upper bracket, teams that started in the upper bracket, all have been 2-0s. It's been sweeps, and I really hope that we're gonna at least have a little bit of a difference for this one, or if they do 2-0, that it's a close game. We like the close back and forth, and then I don't really mind if it's a 2-0 as long as it's good Dota. I mean, a little bit of a cop-out time. Give me a 100-minute game, 107 minutes. That sounds about right.
I think Liquid will come out swinging this one.
Well, let's see. They swing with the Marcy once again. We got Liquid the Shrek coming out for Aster. Openings in terms of bans are a little bit changed up because Primal Beast is still in the pool as well as Visage. Those are the two bans that Liquid did previously. And oh my goodness, they're going so fast, Lacoste.
It is. It's going really fast. I mean, this is what coaches were talking about. They made the draft already pretty much. We also, like during the DPC, we talked about a lot about practicing, especially OG, because they did mention it a couple of times, I believe, when they talked about just practicing the draft. If they pick X and Y, we're going to do this and this. So that's one of the reasons why these drafts are going so quickly.
And Insania was talking about it during ESL1 Malaysia when he was on panel briefly. He said that these teams, before they go into a game, their coaches spend so many hours just running through 50 potential openings of them. So they are prepared for almost everything that comes out. And when you see a team taking their time, it just is a discussion internally. Not that they're not prepared for it, but they want to go between some of the options that they are debating about between each other.
Yeah, and I think there's an element too of not wanting to overthink something that you've already like broken down and analyzed. I mean, in True Sight, you can see a battle between the things that they had discussed before and new ideas that were happening in the series. So it is, of course, a balance, but especially I think it's true for the first phase picks because there are just much less permutations that can happen there where it's like, okay, we did the analysis, like let's just trust this. Once we get to the second phase, then we can start addressing some of the new things that we're seeing in this draft that we didn't address in the analysis because we couldn't, because it's just too many permutations.
Yeah, I do want to point out I was wrong. Primal Beast is still banned out. I was just a little blind. That's all. We do have
that first one is always hiding that first.
It is. We do have Pudge banned out once again, and we do have the opening for Team Liquid. It's Marcy Shadow Fiend. They opened with it last time, but they believe in it still.
Of course. I mean, these two heroes are some of the best heroes you can get in the first phase, right? They got first pick, so of course they go for Marcy. I don't think any team in that position would not want to go for this hero, but Aster already had their response prepared. We saw a lot of teams go for the Lich yesterday versus Marcy, and this is mainly because the Frost Shield negates most of her damage. Most of the damage that this hero provides for the team is through her sidekicks, so Lich can kind of erase that, right? So it makes it so that there's a minus spell in Marcy's arsenal, if that makes sense. And of course, the Leshrac is an Ori specialty. It's what Aster have played the most during the group stages, and it's what enables their style of gameplay where they can 5-man.
It's cool that Sven and Lich are such different heroes inherently, but it seems that Aster is picking them for the exact same reason, which is just the armor versus Marcy, like you were saying. I was not super convinced by the Lich like prior to the tournament as a hero, but then you mentioned it, Effie, and then seeing it, it's like, yeah, Lich might go in and die, but he'll get his Chain Frost off and he'll armor somebody, and then Marcy can't just solo kill whoever she's going on, which she normally actually can do even as a support, and then you know that Marcy's going to be picked with another right-clicking hero, especially SF, who has minus armor.
Yeah,
Lich prevents all that, so does Sven.
One of the heroes that you definitely need to be careful about your positioning. You can't just run in and use Noah on someone, because that means you're gonna die. So it's all about using the Frost armor multiple times, plus getting an angle on a Chain Frost, and that's about it. Like, your laning presence is really good first couple of minutes, then it tends to fall off, then it again goes back up once you hit that level 6, but very difficult hero to play.
I feel like you could honestly consider, if you're Liquid, going for a purge. Like, that's how good the Lich seems, is that you want to purge the armor. Or maybe like an Oracle.
They did ban out Shadow.
The SD would have been really good too, because it's like the permanent purge. You just, I'm going to focus this guy, you press R on him, they die.
Exactly. Usually when you're playing versus this Lich, you just pray you get a Witch Vein or something that can just dispel it later on in the game, because the thing about Lich's armor is it's not one-dimensional. It has a lot of talents that buff it up. It scales with the game. It's not something that you can just itemize against in terms of like increasing your damage output, because he can do the same, right? The duration goes up.
The duration scales now too. It went from 6 seconds flat at all levels, I believe, to 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 extra seconds on that. It's got such high uptime now.
Now, if I told you, Lacoste, that at TI, Lich and Crystal Maiden would be first phase heroes,
I would say maybe next TI. I mean, I did expect some Crystal Maiden to be played, but not this extent. It's just, you know, the heroes too. When we saw the hero being banned in the first phase, also being first pick and like last pick, you know the hero's good.
It's all the Frost heroes except for Ancient Apparition. That one's well, Entity increasing the win rate of that one.
I mean, that was AA with 2 Divine Rapiers.
And Moon Shards. I mean, that's pretty good, you know? Upping that win rate for sure. There she is, the Crystal Maiden and Beastmaster to follow suit straight up. So we are still having the flex potential on the Shadow Fiend. So we're either looking for a Mickey hero or for a Matu hero on the side of Team Liquid.
I think it just feels more comfortable for a Liquid to play the SF on Mike. He just has such a stellar win rate with it from the group stages.
Yeah.
And it feels like Liquid style is they just put a hero that hits towers on Matu. That's always what they do, right? Whether it was the Lone Druid or the Juggernaut when he had that phase, or the Death Prophet carry, what have you, it feels like that's what Matu does best as a carry player, and they just let Mike do the farming.
Matu, one of the few carry players that did not play Shadow Fiend at this TI. He has a different variety of the heroes that you mentioned. Like very specific, like the Lone Druid, Naga Siren as well. I mean, Naga definitely not a pick here against all this AoE damage that Team Aster has.
But already what Liquid have going for them that they didn't have last game was their offlane hero can buy a Wraith Pact, right? Their Mars.
Yeah, it feels necessary.
Mars needs a lot of items before he can buy a Wraith Pact. He needs to be able to get a blink, oftentimes
probably
a BKB,
maybe even a refresher.
And at that point, you're playing versus a Wraith Pact and you don't have one on your team, and we really saw that effect last game. Like, the Pangolier bought it, he didn't care at all, and it did so much for them, so already looking better for Liquid.
You know what Wellplayed needs? More armor. Pair it up with Lich. He's literally immune to physical damage. So they do have a Beastmaster. Shadowfiend is a mixed damage, but having Marcy, like Crystal Maiden, they might be a little limited, especially the damage that goes through BKB. If they're not able to just focus down the Steroblade, he could easily take over the game.
I think Liquid probably wants to put the CM with the Beast and just spam out axes in lane and play off of magic damage against the TB instead of putting some Marcy Beastmaster, which makes me think that Matumba's hero will probably be some ranged hero that can play with the Marcy in lane. Or it doesn't have to be a ranged hero, but some hero that would like to play with Marcy in lane.
Is Sniper still in the pool?
Really
oh no,
good.
Sniper's banned.
Drow seems amazing here. It's really good against
It's
Lush.
banned.
Banned.
Oh, okay.
The only ranged heroes other than Death Prophet that he played, I believe, is Luna.
Luna, but it's terrible against Terrorblade.
Yeah. So what are your traditional counters to the Terrorblade? The only one that comes to mind is a PL.
PL, but you don't want to play into Leshrac.
No.
Yeah, that's a.
They
that's
covered a
toughie.
lot of
They did.
stuff with this Terrorblade Lesh Lich.
Something cool that they could do, but we said that Matu still hasn't played the SF, but if they just put the SF on the safe lane with the Marcy and pick something like a Zeus for mid, they would have a hero that lanes well versus Leshrac, something that
And then
defends
it owns
towers, and
TV.
something that would absolutely crush TV. So from this angle, that's what's looking like their best option.
That
but
looks, yeah, that looks reasonable.
Even picking up something like a Storm Spirit, because there's a limited lockdown on their side, but I like the Zeus option a bit more.
I'm sure that Matu can play SF. I'm sure he can.
I mean, sure. Yeah, if you're at the moment a position 1 carry player at the international and you don't know how to play SF, you got a problem. I think.
But this might be the only team that might not be true for because of how much they lane swap. That's the thing.
Sure, they do run a Shadow Fiend safe lane sometimes, but then it's still Mickey playing it.
You could just have Mika played on the safe lane with the Marcy and then just give the TB counter from the mid lane to Matu.
Matu?
Yeah.
Sure.
There was one interview stuck in my head during DPC when they picked the hero for Matu, and he was like, yeah, I did not play that hero for like 3 years.
It was Alka. Yeah. That was actually the major. It was at the major he played it for the first time.
But he would play that as well. I mean,
They won.
It's Matu. He's had a long career. I'm sure he knows how to play Shadow Fiend.
Yep. Another approach that Liquid could take is to just try to play really fast with like well, Lone Druid is banned, but they could go Death Prophet again if they're still feeling confident in that, and just try to end the game relatively early.
They are discussing what they're going to do here.
Well, they don't have a lot of time left to do so, though, because this is already their
This is
reserve time.
What about some quap, like safe lane quap or, okay, heavy physical on their side? But this also opens up the Roche for them quite a lot, having Beastmaster, Shadow Fiend plus Ursa.
Yeah, objective central. Like this is nuts. If they win a fight, they can get towers. They can take Roche.
Also, Ursa's a great hero. One of the only heroes who can comfortably out-damage the Frost Shield, even though it's mostly physical damage, right? Because his scaling damage with the Fury Swipes is a little bit too much to handle. It also gives them the ability to just run out Terrorblade early on. But once Ursa gets this BKB timing, the supports are food, right? Lich is food, Snap is food, Leshrac is potentially food, depending on his itemization. So it is nice conceptually, but I am worried that all of their eggs are in one basket, which is just this physical damage. Get the first stages, take the map, and if they mess up even once or twice, they have no counterplay.
That's a Brewmaster. Coming out for XXS.
It's one of his signature heroes as well. He does have quite a lot of them. Broodmother, Batrider, Legion Commander, and Brewmaster as well.
I like it. You just throw the Ursa up in the air.
Yeah.
It's a really good solution, as simple as it sounds. And it's also their Wraith Pact hero, which we talked about how important it is for a team to have. It also gives them that added bit of team fight. The only issue would be having to weather the storm of Liquid's early game aggression. There is a Beastmaster, but I think that Aster honestly have something really solid going for them.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, Aster is cooldown dependent. Like, you need Brewmaster ulti, TB ulti to be able to fight, like even Snapfire's Kisses. On the other side, Ursa, Beastmaster, Crystal Maiden, like these heroes are able to fight all the time. Even Shadow Fiend, like, yeah, you need a BKB, but you're not required to have Requiem for the fight to win it.
That sounds like an action-packed game. I know who I want to listen to when we're having an action-packed game. It's none other than Gunnar, Trent, and Lyrical. Let's head over to them for Game 2.
And welcome back again. We're here taking a look at game number 2. You wonderful people out there, what are you giggling at?
we didn't have the hand of God, the voice of God, so we just had the nice stare of us. Good.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
We do have a freaking awesome game, though. We've got the Ursa as the last pick. I was not expecting that one. I was thinking some crazy, like, Tinker or magic damage hero. And they're just like, no, we're going to go and run at Roches and take down buildings. They're going to make it work. What do you guys think of the draft?
I like Liquid's way more faster paced. I think they're actually able to group up and fight. They have Beastmaster for the vision now. They have the Ursa to force Roche and take objectives. They didn't get Aegis last game, I think.
No, they did not.
So now they actually have the opportunity to kind of group up and ball.
Yeah, they certainly wanted it very clearly. Aegis would have been great for them in these circumstances. So part of the issue was they were required to go for these initiations to start these fights, and they had a hard time doing it because they were certainly at a vision disadvantage, and you're hoping to sort of get rid of that problem here with the help of that Beastmaster.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference with the Beast to the Mars is that even if the Beast doesn't buy a blink, it just the Hawks give you vision. So now maybe the Marcy gets a catch, maybe the Crystal Maiden gets a slow. It's sometimes vision is a stun enough.
Stun enough. I like that. That's a good way to describe it there. And on the other side, for Aster, you've got a very different, in some ways, looking draft, and some things that are similar. So still running with that Lesh, and then a support that mitigates the physical damage. Last time it was that Sven with the Shard. This time, it's going to be that Frost Shield. And then the other big last pick that I think is really interesting hero nowadays, and what we've been seeing from it, is this Brewmaster with the Aghanim Scepter build. Really cool stuff.
We've been seeing it pop up. There's kind of two different styles of the hero I've seen. One is that they just rush Wraith Pact, and they pretty much just play to drop Wraith Pact, drop splits, just no one takes damage in the fights. You just exist and you can't fight them. And the other is where they rush that Ags, and they play more of a... It just gives them a lot of plays. Either you can have the Fire Panda to farm, you have the Earth Spirit Panda to kind of just give you vision, give you a stun, or you have the Wind Panda, which catches, it dispels. Very nice for a lot of the Liquid heroes. Kills all the summons from Beastmaster, purges the Ursa, can lift the Ursa. The Storm Panda itself was actually probably the best thing about Brewmaster in this game.
Yeah, and that's very interesting too, because that's been a long talking point in terms of the Wind Panda and like this idea of like, oh, you can get rid of the summons and the dispels, but of course you were always limited to it being during the ultimate, and then in that downtime you didn't have those options. But now with the addition of the Aghanim Scepter build, it's actually something that can be far more reliable on the hero, and at this point it's actually brought him into being one of the more reliable heroes with a dispel.
Right? Yeah, which again, the Ags is where you can choose one Panda to always have, even if you're not in the ult. So you can just kind of run around the whole game with the Panda, and it's leash to you similar to a Lundred Bear, where if it goes too far, it gets silenced. But
look at that wall of text there. It is a very complicated hero, if we're going to be real about it.
Okay, here's my big advice to Dota players. If you think a hero is too complicated to play it, just play it.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get better. Everyone has to start somewhere. So don't be scared of the complicated heroes, because they're really fun.
I think I just teared up a little bit when you said that, Trent. What a brilliant thought to end the day off.
Just don't be on my team.
Okay, all right, got it. No, you had to ruin it, didn't you? As we take a look at this mid lane, a couple denies there coming out from Mickey. A similar story to what we saw before. And then the big mix-up again is that Terrorblade that got taken by Aster at that 4th pick for them. And I'm kind of a little bit concerned if this game goes later, what tools they have to deal with this. Is this a game where Terrorblade can just carry if it goes late enough?
It can. He's the type of hero, especially for Shadow Fiend. He can steal the aura, which is actually very, under talked about, where you just steal this minus armor aura from Shadow Fiend, and that's one of the big things. He does so much damage because of that, and now you have it. And he does do the same thing where he outranges these Shadow Fiend type of heroes, and he can kite the Ursa, but Team Liquid just does a lot of heroes that will latch on him and can just kill him either through Sunder or even after the Sunder happens.
Yeah.
Like the Ursa, the Beast, he gets roared, he gets attacked by the Ursa. Ursa presses BKB, and he's just kind of sitting there without much save.
It's not a safe-looking Sunder this game. If it gets off, I feel like there's still a lot of concern that could be there for you.
Still have the stacks of Fury Swipes even after that Sunder, so.
The biggest reason, one of the big reasons they pick it in this game is Beastmaster is one of these zoo heroes. He has summons, he pushes lanes, he gives a lot of vision. And when you're constantly pushing lanes, the creeps just themselves give you so much vision. If people are farming them, if they're not. And so now that the fact that he, by himself, is able to summon illusions and kind of counteract that and even push into the Beastmaster without being there, it kind of evens up the vision game for Aster.
Yeah, it makes it so that you're not caught off guard as much by the Beastmaster, because they want to take you off even footing by just trying to upset your lane, so someone has to rotate and go deal with that. And so if you can do it with the illusions, you're gonna be a lot happier. And it's another case of potentially even getting an aura taken from a Beastmaster.
The biggest question is pretty much gonna be the tempo and speed of Liquid. They have Beast and Ursa and Shadow Fiend. They're all heroes that hit these very early 10-minute, 15-minute timings where once they get that, they're able to fight for the rest of the game. Just keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. And Aster, again, this Leshrac, they always want to go Bloodstone. They always want to hit this like nice mid-game timing where they're just constantly getting stronger and stronger. And whether or not he gets the Bloodstone in time is going to be the big question.
Well, we'll have to watch for that. How his laning stage plays out right now, a little bit behind the SF. 17-5 versus the 12-2. Nothing to super write home about as they're doing some more of the lane pull shenanigans up top there. And the other big thing to watch for is, are we going to get some stacks? Because both of these heroes deal with it really well. As XXS just getting beat down by Boxy. Marcy's still an incredibly strong hero, and you can see he doesn't even feel like he can connect that fully through. So a bit of a tough one. Will get the Cinder Brew ignited and follow up with the cookie, but you can see XXS just wants to keep farming. While Boxy is going to head off to the other side and maybe make that rotation towards mid.
Yeah, we see this nice move by Boxy. He does this a lot where he kind of pressures behind the tier 1 tower, either like trying to aggress on the pulls or just bully the offlaner. And because of that, he ends up in the tri-camp. And now he's just behind the mid tower.
Chase, a couple punches, and Ichu able to pick up that first blood. So while everything's happened top, down bottom, take care of business.
You can see even Boxy, he just secures the water runes now. So that Mickey is they're gonna try to fight in the bot water runes.
Oh, good stun. Steals it away. Bobica, but they pull him back. Ori, he's in some trouble. A couple more hits is all they need. Looking for the long range one. Can they bring him down? It is there. Mickey hits on 3. And Boxy maybe even gonna look for more from Bobica. We'll see how it goes. But that's gonna be at least one of the water runes picked up for the SF.
Some flashbacks of the last game.
True.
Mickey had a really nice game. He was 4-0 in the early game.
Yeah.
He also killed the Lush with this Boxy rotation.
Boxy was all over the map again as well, securing kills everywhere.
This is the Marcy factor.
Yeah.
Anytime, every game, especially with Marcy SF, that's why we keep seeing this combo so much. Even past the sidekick mid-game of the Shadow Fiend timing, it's just the mid lane.
I think it's funny too, because they also had these same wards, like through the river last game as well, spotting these rotations from Boxy, but Marcy's just so mobile that sometimes it doesn't even matter.
It's so fast. Even you can just TP and always be there.
They've actually watched Boxy walk his entire way up here, and he still might die.
They take
would not be good. Oh
good kill as they bring him down.
They watched him walk there.
That's what needed to happen. It's a really strong combination, and playing together with that Ursa is pretty devastating. Now, this has come a little bit at the cost of Zai not having a perfectly great lane, but likewise, you know, the other two aren't doing too well either. So, Terrorblade, good start. The rest of the heroes kind of suffering.
Yeah, Zai got 16-17 is one of the harder. He gets instantly counterpicked by the Terrorblade. He doesn't really get to ban. He's just kind of thrown there. He's like, have a great game, Zai. You know, just go, try to go even in your lane.
See you at 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's good enough. Just maybe press a Hawk, give us some vision at some point. So all in all, his goal is mostly just get the Helm of the Dominator, and at some point, probably kick the Terrorblade out of the lane with a rotation.
We'll watch for that one for sure.
And Latu took a lot of damage up there trying to go toe-to-toe with XXS.
And they canceled the TP too. So I'm not sure if anybody scouted that one or saw that, but Matumba Man going to be a little bit under pressure here if he's not careful.
Yeah, Boxy was worried that he was being dove, so he might have to show up and said he just wants to lurk around mid because the 6-minute runes were coming up, but the positioning for Liquid just was favorable for them. He does get the jump in there though at the
round
back.
2. Raze connects. Another one is there. Mickey, when he comes out, this is going to be easy peasy. Walking right up close and personal. Mickey finds the kill, and yeah, Boxy's been the story. He's been doing everything.
This is also his first year playing 4, right? He just switches roles and he's crushing every game against Marcy. He just body blocks people. He always gets the rotations. Last game he had 3 kills within 5 minutes. Similar story here, 3 kills in 6 minutes.
Yeah,
just constantly moving around the map.
4 is for the offlaners that they don't have the ego. You know, they don't need the farm. They don't have to hit the creeps.
There you go.
They actually just want to kill people.
Chase, look for another. Have the pullback, dispose, couple more leaps, jumping around all over the place with this matchup. And XXS doing a good job of keeping his Snapfire alive. This combination of laners, they've been together for so many years and have each other's backs.
A lot of body blocks so far.
True.
Yeah, just constantly, everyone's just, you just see it, the evolution of Dota. People just get so much better at these little small moves.
They went in again.
Up
I
top.
think they thought Boxy was, or Bobica was gone.
Chase,
yeah,
looking for the kill, get one. That's gonna be a hit. But Boxy did go down for that one. Man. Yeah, they just keep running at each other.
Full health, full mana. He's probably gonna TP mid, fill the bottle.
Mickey, come on, spam it out. I'm coming.
Maybe look for another go onto Ori too if the opportunity presents itself. And yeah, immediately refill bottle there. And XXS being a little bit zoned out there by Matumba Man.
Likewise though, of course, with Bobica going down, we'll do the same thing for Ori. get the juices flowing, and the Arcane Runes complete there. They're going to find Insania. That's a juicy Crystal Maiden, and, well, she's got Wind Lace, but, you know, she has no boots to lace, so she's still really slow.
That's true.
It's a 3v2. The 50-50, who wins?
Oh, Mickey gets it. Regen, too. That would have been huge for Ori. And we'll head right on in and start stealing some of these camps away.
They play around the Shadow Fiend really nicely. They're always constantly bringing supports mid, securing his runes, but...
Now they're around the Shadow Fiend, though.
Mickey in some trouble. Do have the rebound, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep him alive. So they do make a solid move by Aster. Take down Mickey. 9-5. And everything just happening around mid. That was a split, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a split, so... I mean, worth, obviously. Early split to kill a mid player, you'll take.
Zai is now level 6. He's holding his point. They don't really want to go to him before the Helm of the Dominator. So Monet is just going to kind of be very confident in his lane, farming up very nicely. He's top of the net worth and the last hits. So it's going to be pretty much up to Monet. It's his choice of, oh, do I want to go jungle? Do I want to go top? We could even see him maybe in the next minute or two with the next split, TPing to the offlane, trying to pressure the Ursa out of the lane. Because again, Ursa does not jungle as well as a Terrorblade. So breaking down these safe lanes is kind of going to be the next big goal of these teams.
Well, they are bringing a couple other heroes up to the top side now. CM making the rotation as Boxy is already over there. Don't know if that's going to turn into anything.
I feel like Boxy's just trying to force a TP. Like,
yeah.
He's just been under a ward for a long time. They do come and skate it out. Nice job from Insania. Gets the D ward there with the help of the Courier. Doesn't have to waste his Crystal Nova mana because he needs every little drop of mana you can get on a CM.
It feels like everyone's trying to force rotations without making them. Both of the supports sitting next to their carries in the safe lanes and they're poking, trying to make them be like, oh, we have to TP. And then that's when they flip the map.
Yeah.
But right now, everyone's just being very careful, being calculated. No one's doing anything too crazy. No one's diving towers.
I swear, this is the longest I've seen a TB in lane in quite a while.
Ooh.
I feel like every time I'm watching TB, he's getting set. I mean, he usually was like more of a draft priority, I guess, right? He was being banned more often, so now that he's picked a bit later, actually getting a chance to farm the creep waves is pretty crazy.
And in the meantime, Zai is just farming up that stack right there. A nice little injection of gold for himself as he's going to try and claim the rest of these. 3 points up in the axes. And the CM Aura certainly helping along the way as there's also a good Ancient stack there. So this is going to be the Helm of the Dominator coming out for Zai while we are still waiting for that push out of that safe lane. And you can see that Monet has made a bit of a rotation into the jungle now.
So this game, Liquid is actually going to play for a slower timing. If anything, it looks like Batu is going to go for a Battle Fury on the Ursa. So they're playing to not feel pressured. The one really nice thing about it is now Brew cannot end a split early. The Ags doesn't give you the ability to end the split, so it's always the full duration. So once he gets BKB Battle Fury, he can just clear through the Primal split, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Big smoke down bottom, and Aster won't manage to find anybody except for maybe Insania here, who's hanging out mid. They run into him. Cookie won't quite connect, does have the split earth, but it's not there either. So Aster miss on everything. But Zai, in the meantime, you see he's going to finish off that Ancient stack. They'll use the glyph here to take down the tower.
They are glyphing as well for the Radiant, though, of course, because mid lane, they got the Catapult, they got Shadow Fiend, and Boxy's hiding behind the trees, but it's a Brewmaster, and he goes instantly for the split.
And Boxy gets a little bit of a separation, haste away from SF. They're clear and clean and out.
He was trying to hope to dispel the haste, I think, but Mickey got away, and Boxy kind of made the space for him to be able to run.
Yeah, there was even a sentry down, too, in case he tried to go for, like, a Storm Panda play or something.
Monet makes a move.
The worst to, like, not get a kill with a Brew split this early, I feel like. You defended the tower, right? It was a one-hero rotation to ensure that it stayed up.
I think it also feels good just because they were able to make a move to their safe lane and take the tower. So again, now Monet's kind of... Once you take this offlane tower, your carry's able to freely leave the lane. It's a lot easier to push the lane out so that you have way more time before your tower gets hit. So now he can just TP, he can farm the Ancients.
Snapfire ulti down onto Mickey, trying to catch him. Slowed down for the moment. Boxy under fire will get brought down, and Mickey dropped the Requiem. A quick connection for the kill. As, again, supports die, but a bunch of big ultis used on Aster.
Okay, it actually feels crazy to me that an Ursa takes the 1.75 mana regen with a Battle Fury and a Crystal Maiden on this team.
Yeah.
It's really the reset time's that bad? Is that how bad that talent is?
It depends on a lot of the matchups in the game, mostly. It's more if you can't really latch onto a hero. I've seen it a lot for second Medusa, because when she pops her Stone Gaze, you have to reset.
Right.
You have the ability to take these really long fights. But I think Liquid's kind of hoping to just be able to roar someone, he gets on them, and that's all that matters. He just will kill them in a roar.
He just wants to spam. He just wants to farm it up on this Ursa. So Matu, just all the mana in the world for this bear.
And you can see that Zai also going for a little bit of a unorthodox build from what we've seen before on these Beastmasters, going 4-4-0. So not really opting to get that physical damage boost up. They still will get some good pressure onto that bottom tier 1 tower here now.
Yeah, a lot of the time where Beastmasters, when they're getting early picked, the idea was that you'd pick an illusion hero because that would be able to kill the boars in the lane and it would kind of, counter them. So the change was that Beastmasters started maxing axes because the illusion heroes have high armor but low health pools. So it's pretty much just a change to deal with the Terrorblade in the lane. That's why he was actually able to last it, and that's why his game is actually not terrible. If anything, it's actually better than the Brewmasters.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a nice adjustment to the lane in the game.
Bounty.
So Aster, as they move up towards the north, Boxy runs in above a cut.
The instant turn.
Everybody's afraid.
That tells the tale of this game, huh?
Yeah.
We're just relaxing here. Vision-wise, it's Liquid have a slight edge in terms of those deep wards. It's kind of been the constant throughout this whole match, but Aster feeling comfortable enough still to make this move to the top tower. Even with the lack of vision, they can always just send out some illusions if they've got some questions.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Down bottom, Success queuing up, trying to finish off that raid pack again.
I think, again, this game, Liquid is going to be the team that's playing for controlling areas of the map. Shadow Fiend doesn't have a jump, Beastmaster doesn't go blink for a while, Ursa has a Battle Fury. They want to hold either their jungle with their Ancients or they want to hold, probably the Radiant big jungle in the bot lane. And on the side of Aster, they just hit their timings and they want to just keep going. Every time they have Split, once they have this Bloodstone, once Monet, every time he has meta, he's able to walk into Roche, he's able to walk in towers. So we're going to see Aster's going to try to do a lot more of the aggressive plays, and Liquid's going to try to keep getting their timings, keep farming up, play a slightly slower game, but they always want to be ready to fight.
I feel like these fights are going to get pretty wild once they start happening, though. Like, look how this Lich wants to play this fight, right?
Yeah.
Like this Chain Frost just bouncing around, as well as the Frost Shield, doing so much work in this game.
The Lich is a similar replacement to the Sven from last game, where it just kind of enabled his team to walk in and just never die to the physical damage, specifically from the SF. And now there's SF and Ursa, so there's so much physical damage that this Ori's able, with this Bloodstone, I think he can probably just walk into 4 or 5 heroes and probably survive.
And like they need to clump, right? Like the Ursa, the Marcy, and the Beastmaster, they tend to really get in there. And so
even
if
all the summons,
that Chain Frost goes in there, like hopefully the summons are gonna have to tank some of this up, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's gonna be the thing that they hope to have happen. The other thing to watch for again is that whereas Sven in last game, you had that AoE extra survivability. For this, it's just that Frost Shield and a single target. So maybe can, change up their target prioritization a little bit depending on how it goes.
Ooh, XS raiding.
Okay, they get out the ulti. Can they get away on Matumba Man? With everybody rotating in, this was a nice move by Aster, and they'll take down the bear. Huge kill.
This is where Liquid would typically run right at. They're hesitating, right? They're thinking about it. They start going, they stop, go, stop.
Can they find one in return, though? Insania right on top. The stun, it doesn't connect, but the Requiem very nicely played with the Dispose. Double ulti for the kill, and now more chasing going on as they do have a stomp available. XXS kind of in a weird spot now. Connects with the stun. The rest of the team trying to catch up and get into position. They're a little ways away, but they got him. The pullback. Have Dispose for round 2. Pull him in. Insania's there. Cookie for round 3. Can they kill her off? Yes, they will.
And at the same time, Mickey takes that mid tower with the help of a catapult there. So Liquid getting a lot done in those moments after losing their Ursa, taking advantage of the fact that Bruce Split was down.
Another interesting adjustment I see is that Mickey actually went for a Falcon Blade this game. I think usually the Shadow Fiends, I think even last game he went for the Dragonlance before the BKB. So I think that's also kind of an indicator of how they want to play. Generally you go Dragonlance because of the value adds when you push towers.
Was bitten off a little bit more than they could chew there on Ori. There's no SF means not an easy chance for a kill, and of course, as we saw, the Frost Shield makes it tough.
But now Roche is starting to
and there's no secrets here. They're seeing everything with the wards they have down on Aster. So they're going to move their way right to the pit.
Starting to build up. 2 stacks so far. They hit him with both. Chain Frost round 3. Can they get him? Yes, they will. Ori goes down. Now looking for more. XXS backing away and does have to run.
Look at Boxy go.
X, dude, still chasing. He's so low. Such low HP on Boxy. Trying to get away. Might just be able to do the rebound. How is this hero fair? Oh my god. That was so sick.
Zai was trying to send in the Centaur as well to help.
that space created because this Roche is going down. And they're so close to finishing off. XXS wants to run in, but now they're committed. Monet chases forward. Good setup. Can they do enough for the kill? Mickey in trouble. That's 1 kill, 1 time dead. XXS brought down low. Insania doing a bunch with that ultimate. They pull back in that Shadow Fiend. Mickey, Requiem to buy a little bit of space to chase down. They keep on wanting to fight, but Tumble Man on top of him. Chase dead. Monet, he doesn't have any more Metamorphosis left. I don't think they can chase anymore, but Liquid, they win the Roche, they win the fight.
Oh, Boxy. This guy, just, I don't even know how he does it. No HP that entire fight, keeps coming back in for the rebounds, abusing those low cooldowns. And Liquid, I'm sure, getting a little bit worried there as that was starting to end, but taking down XSS and really, again, punishing the lack of ultimate on the Brewmaster.
It looked a little scary. Mickey's BKB was cooldown, so when he dies the first time, there's a chance they burst him, but no stuns, I think, were available. And also something...
This was so long ago now, it feels like, when this all began.
So much damage from the double damager. They actually just chew through the Frost Shield.
I think also, you know, that's a moment where as a Lesh, you might feel like you're safe, but as soon as that first raise hits, the second one comes in and you're slowed. I mean, look at this.
50 HP, wands with 2 charges, gets back out.
Man.
Radiant's courier
Then he returns twice more as well from Boxy. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and that's so important because the Marcy just being able to give that sidekick over to these cores is so much of what makes this hero insane in the later stages.
And it's what helped finish the Roche off, right? And then this is where things look scary. Tsana gets have a full ulti. Thing just keeps on going, helping to bring down XSS despite having the Frost Shield on top. And then manages to walk out as well at low HP.
I think one of the cool things, which is it's actually what started this fight, and it's why Boxy lived, is that he is a casual cloak. There's actually 3 of them in this game. Both Ori and the Lich, I think, yeah, have the cloaks right now. So you can see a lot of the teams have started to do, they pick a lot of these early game damage heroes. Even Shadow Fiend does so much magic damage in the early game. Not just these casual cloaks can turn these fights. He has 50 HP. That's purely because of the cloak he buys. And it turns the whole fight around. Boxy being able to live there.
Yeah, well, he's feeling very magical right now as Mickey eyeing up the Arcane Blink as well to come up after this. Has the Fairies Trinket, so the full mage build is in effect.
Certainly, we would love to see a game number 3, as we always do in these pivotal matchups here for the upper bracket. See if it ends up happening or not, but a BKB completed on the Ursa. And the next couple of minutes, I want to see where this like item progression goes for the Terrorblade. What he ends up looking towards next. That Scotty, obviously, really important for you know, stopping any of that extra regen you get from the sidekick, like steal all the rest of it.
Yeah, the Scotty really puts the pressure on your initiation as Liquid, because if the fight's not good, you don't get a great burst on an important target. That's where a Terrorblade can really start turning around this fight with that Scotty. You just get kited out, you can't finish things off the way you want to.
I think it's probably going to be a BKB after the Scotty, just to never get feared by the Shadow Fiend. If you get BKB off before you get roared and the Lich armors you, you also probably won't die. You always get your Sunder off, but now we see a smoke from Liquid.
And that Radiant scan connected, so they knew this was coming, and instead they're trying to counteract it. They are going to make the call to head down for this bottom lane. They run right into Mickey. He will back out of there. Zai also still standing steady, but everybody just back behind the tower. Now, Terrorblade is not here. Can TP into the fight. Might be a little bit scary. Insania.
They just saw the Leshrac
Root, chase, Mickey, big ulti, but he doesn't get it off in time to stop the split. It might still be enough. The Tumba Man trying to beat through those Brewlings, but they didn't get the Earth Panda. Now, Snapfire Ultimate still has Enrage. They get all the big ultis out. But the BKB
the worst for Aster. They used 3 ults, but they at least got the fight to be forced. They used Liquid to press their BKBs. They defended their tower, so they might even look to smoke out and try to catch Shadow Fiend off, you know, off guard.
Feels scary though without Brew Split.
Yeah.
It's not easy to have a good fight.
I guess the danger of having the, you know, the Leshrac and all the power that he can bring to the fight, if they can get on top of that SF, could be pretty huge.
They're just going to play the game to get this Leshrac BKB. He's going to get it in 300 gold, but yeah, this Arcane Blink on Shadow Fiend is pretty interesting. I think the idea of it is either A, to try to burst the Brewmaster before he gets ult off, or B, burst the Terrorblade before he gets spells off. It's pretty much just a bursting tool to kill one hero. It's similar to the old, the Yule, Butcher Travel, Blink, 1000 HP Shadow Fiends that were running around back in the day.
Those are still in all my games. What do you mean? Is that not cool anymore?
It's not as cool these days.
Well, apparently it's pretty cool. Mickey is making it.
He's going to no Yules. No Yules, no Boots of Travel.
Okay, fair enough.
a little mixture of a build. So this one. It actually scales relatively similar to how the physical does in terms of strength, but in a very different way. So,
Foxy setting this up. Expose, big jump, big burst, does have that Wraith pack down.
So many
Mercy.
That's just
and immediately just going to run away. But bottom lane, they're getting some good pressure onto that tier 2 tower. We'll throw out the Frost Shield to keep it alive a little bit more against the Helm of the Overlord.
Man, they get punished for the lack of ability to chase as well. Without the Brew split there, like they couldn't do anything. They just walked away. Like Marcy and Ursa, they're all just kind of like hobbling up there with Terrorblade and Leshrac, and they just gotta watch them go.
Yeah, I actually think Ori might buy just a blink this game, just so he can blink BKB and try to force a fight to happen around his hero. Because Brewmaster doesn't really want to buy a blink. You don't want to blink in and then try to ult in front of the entire enemy team. Terrorblade as well just wants to exist somewhere in the back of the fight. And the supports are just ranged heroes. They don't want to go in.
Yeah, XSS's blink is just going to be him getting an Aeon Disc. And, hoping that lets him get his ulti off by just being in the middle of things.
More blinks in tow as the Ursa is going to finish his off. Coming out on the courier now. Still hanging on to these mid towers too.
Zai has purchased an Aether Lens instead of a blink, which is pretty cool. It means that he doesn't have to enter the fight. It's a little different because now it seems like they're not trying to play off the roar. If you don't have a blink, it's hard to just say, I'm roaring this guy, go, go, go.
Okay, goes right away. Frost Shield, keeping Ori alive. All that damage mitigation, the stun comes forward, but they got him. The burst was there. Matumba Man was not prepared.
That shard cookie hop looks so goofy. Like a big old arc up in the air.
Sinister Gaze.
Pretty
This
strong.
spell is so, it just like, the cast point of it is so fast, it always catches people off guard. I think even to this day, people are still surprised when they get Sinister Gaze by a Lich.
Yeah, I would agree. Usually they're like hanging back or they just die right away. You don't really expect him to be a Shadow Shaman.
This Arcane Blink is now going to be completed, and with Roche capable of respawning another minute, we'll have to see what the avenue is that they want to go. But Shadowfiend queuing up to Aghanim Scepter afterwards, so max burst potential. An interesting option, and definitely going to need that Terrorblade to get into the BKB now and have reactions.
The level 20 timing is also very good when he goes Magic and Ags, because it increases the amount of time you can be feared. I think by like 1.2 seconds or something, max duration. And the fear goes back in. So once you Arcane Blink with an Ags, it's about 4.5 seconds.
Ori, they got him. He's dead. Completely destroyed. It happens in an instant. As soon as that stun hit, we knew.
It's funny because like Cookie's a save, but like even if the Cookie's there, I don't even think it's going to impact in time, you know?
The travel time of the Cookie's too slow. Yeah. It's 0.8 seconds of cast point for the Shadowfiend right now.
Just like that, you can see the value of this Arcane Blink. I don't think I've seen an item to get picked up and then used immediately that effectively before in a while.
Well, unfortunately for Liquid, it's not the dream scenario where it's an instant Roche or something for them. It's going to be a bit of time, but halfway, a minute and a half timer.
You can see queuing up already some of the answers to this Arcane Blink. We saw the Aeon Disc coming out now for the Brew. That's going to need to be the answer.
But he's finishing up his BKB. He's just been kind of silent past couple minutes. I think he's just farming. He's pushing out lanes, dealing with the Beastmaster. And there hasn't been really much. Again, Aster doesn't have the greatest jump, or he has queued up that blink. He is going to try to be the guy who goes in there and starts the fights for his team. But they're just kind of hoping Liquid walks into them. And they're able to take the fights like that.
Yeah, I mean, it worked last game, right? You know, that's
true.
Even on the bot rune. Batu walks up on the high ground, they get 2 kills, and they just walk away and get more farm.
I mean, I think the big benefit and the change that we're seeing this time is, of course...
Pulling him? Okay, not.
Dead. Fucking all dead.
Let's run into this hill now.
Well
And
played.
All dead. Everybody's dead. That's great. I'm glad we were on a similar page there. I think the big difference this time is, of course, going to be that Beastmaster having those Hawks get sent forward, so they get a little bit better vision before the fights start off.
Yeah, the vision from Liquid is really nice this game compared to the last. On the last game, they just kept blind walking into War. They blind walk into the Pango. He always gets roll off. Aster, the Brewmaster doesn't have the same instantaneous impact of the roll.
Yeah.
Where it's just constantly stunning. He's a BKB tier you can't kill. Even in this bot fight around the tier 2, the Shadowfiend ults and almost kills the 2 pandas instantly. Even though he doesn't catch the Brew, he almost kills the ult. if the Ursa Panda is the only one alive, it doesn't do anything besides stand there.
Especially versus an Ursa. You know, if he spots that Panda, the thing's just gone.
Oh, for sure. Well, still playing around their vision right now. And Aster, they bring out another Blink Dagger. This time, I believe this is Ori. So mass amounts of blinks, looking for the outplays. And as you mentioned, the casual cloaks here and there might turn those into bigger items eventually. Smoke up as they're going to head up north, as Roche has respawned. We'll have to see if there is going to be that big pivotal fight or not around this ward.
See if the evasion can save XSS here. He's got the talent for the +1x brood up for the evasion.
Sense in danger, moves right in, finds everybody. 4 staff, gets some separation. Will get hit with the stun. And that will be the death of the CM, but do they still want to fight? Expose, pulls back XXS, looking for a chase. They buy back on the CM. TPing in for this fight. Mickey looking for the blink. They still keep them backing away, and XXS in trouble. Aeon Disc summons, thinks about popping the ulti, but doesn't drop it yet. Snapfire ultimate, 4 staff, separating this. Zai in trouble, roar. Immediately, Mickey gets it, the stun on everybody, but it's not going to be enough damage. Ori survived through it. They need to run away now, but Tumbaman TP's out, will manage to secure that one. But so much used by Liquid, and they still ended up losing that fight immediately into the pit from Aster.
It wasn't enough damage on Monet. He has the Titan Sliver, so it takes a little less magic, a little less stun from the fear. And
they don't want to give this up.
This isn't how they want to go out right now. There's great vision here from Aster, though. Ovs and Sentry nearby, going to spot those Hawks, see what's going on. They take it down immediately. Still in the pit, looking for their setup here. No Requiem.
Tumbaman, jump forward. Boxy right on top. It's not quick enough, though. They went too early. Now the axe is getting thrown. Mickey in trouble. Right on top of him. Blows up the Shadow Phenom. But Tumbaman does not have an option. This Frost Shield is impossible to fight in to for that Ursa. And Boxy, Chain Frost bouncing back and forth. Takes him down. Liquid committed everything for this, and they're going to get nothing.
Oh, Boxy. A little bit of help there from the neutral. Creeps carrying on that Chain Frost right from Insania to Boxy and the trolls nearby. Into the pit they go, and Aster, after on the back foot for so much this game, waiting for that perfect moment, they find it. What a great way to bait that entire fight starting at the outpost.
Unreal, and a little bit of that early commitment there ends up getting punished.
That blink, I mean, you can see the big difference it's making for Ori, right? He's able to get into the most important part of that fight right now and force all that attention next to Mickey. Leaves Monet by himself. He can clean up some of these summons that are nearby, and once they take care of Mickey, even with the buyback, he can't get back in time.
I mean, the biggest question now, I think, is the Ags is really important. Mickey needs this Ags. It does 2 things. It makes the fear come back in after it goes out, and it also reduces the cooldown, which means that you can use it every single fight. You don't have to worry about it. And the biggest thing as well is that they use the Shadow Phenom and they don't get a kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
When his whole build is centered around using the ult and you use a stun and you don't get the kill, you kind of feel bad. This re-engage fight at the Roche pit, he doesn't have BKB, he doesn't have ult, or he just blinks on him and he has no place. He doesn't have the physical damage to deal with him. He doesn't have a pike. He doesn't have a way to kind of disengage from the fight, so he's just stuck there.
1,500 more gold for Mickey, and we'll see if that's going to be enough to get him where he needs to be. Does hit that level 20 now, but still not an easy position to be in. As Monet runs into the SF, no way to break that TP, obviously. And man, yeah, this Lich, you choose so many of these times, has been the difference maker, it feels like. You talked about that Frost Shield on the Leshrac. There really hasn't been an answer for it.